Alright. I missed out on match one, recording commentary, because I woke up a couple minutes late, so I decided to kind of keep it cozy and watch laying down. Um, a lot of interesting storylines in this match. We have a Yumi ban, Rise, and Caitlyn ban should be to follow. Ash ban also needs to happen. A lot of interesting storylines in this draft. You have Viper versus Lehens. You have Clid versus Cuz, two underperforming junglers looking to step up. You have Zeka looking to stomp into the dust, aiming, who's both of these players have been very dominant carries for their teams. And we'll see if BDD can find some sort of counter pick in the mid lane. Had interesting performances on the Cassid and the Yone so far this season, but also underwhelming performances on the Syndra, on the Talia, even on the Rise. So it'll be interesting to see. Sejuani comes to mind here right off the bat. Zeri, Lulu, also high priority in this draft. But you have the Sejuani Jax combo still open. Varus is going to be taking Heimer also on the table. Early priority into this Varus. Oh, they're going to flex the Karma again? Come on. Oh my lord. BDD was like fragging on it, but yeah, I think that they R3'd Karma earlier, and it was really bad. They do pick up the Sejuani, so at least they're cleaning up some part of their draft, but I think a lot of times this Karma flex is a bait for Korean teams, at least. It's worked out pretty well for G2, but that's about it. The Heimerdinger is going to come through for Varus. I wonder if aiming's going to go Jin Karma into this. We saw into, I believe it was Kwangdong Freaks who chose the Jin Karma into the Varus Heimer lane with the constant shove. And in the mid lane, I'd imagine to be the jungler here before the second rotation of bans, either the Vi or the Wukong. It's going to be the blind pick Gnar. Blind pick Gnar comes through, so you have to wonder if we're going to counterpick it before the second wave of bans come through, before Gnar can ban. We're going to go Ezreal for aiming. Ezreal pretty good at a distance dealing with those Heimer turrets. Perhaps a little bit of a better pick than the Jhin. Hollow Life probably want to find themselves a Fiora and a Jax ban. Also, laners with early priority could find kill windows into the Gnar. And probably Wukong is already banned, so I'd imagine it would be the Vi and the Elise banned away. So far, it's just Sejuani ult that gives Silas a lot of value. The early priority in Cassante is something that Gnar is threatened by. I wonder if Keen could pilot a Jace pick. It'd be on theme with the poke of Karma and Ezreal, and that early damage into the Gnar could prove very hard to deal with. Also, Renekton with the Sejuani, probably good to deal with. So those are two bans you're probably looking at. And that's even outside of the Jax, so Jaxel is also a really good one to steal away from Silas, as well as Azir. So banning the Silas, I like it a lot, but it leaves the Akali counter pick. If they choose to R4 Azir, I like the Aurelia pick. There's been a couple comment. Ooh, that would be kind of crazy. Into the poke of Varus is kind of interesting. You deny an easy target for the chain of corruption, but And perhaps into the later game, you can all in. Oh, with the Sejuani going the Camille into Gnar is really interesting. It's generally a skill matchup because sometimes with the auto attacks, you can be really oppressive into the Camille, but the auto attacks, melee auto attack reset for Camille is going to be really good for Sejuani. If Rise got all the way through for Zeka, Kassadin is still up though. BDD. And they go for another 80 carry here. So they don't have any tank outside of the Gnar, outside of the semi-tank in Rise. But you have to think this is going to be a Kassadin. You even have the auto attack reset for Sejuani. It's a free Kassadin pick here. No, no, don't do that. All right, so Twisted Fate is going to try to match the roam potential from Rise, but I don't think it's enough to counteract Rise's push potential, and it's not enough of a scaling threat. So they're going to really go all in, similar to a Camille Galio uh, combo. They're going to use the Twisted Fate to synergize with the Camille and Sejuani kill pressure. So very interestingly, we see a lot of bot-centric games. Yesterday morning, T1 played the Elise with the Caitlyn Ashe bot lane, and Oder didn't take his top camps the entire game, and they just focused on they split map, vertical jungle on the bot side of the map, denied Sejuani any pressure, forced her under turret, and just killed her. So interesting with the Ezreal Karma, you have to imagine they're probably going to be playing weak side. And there'll be a lot of kill pressure on the top lane into the Gnar. So it'll be something that they'll have to watch out for. Overall, Zeka is in a good spot to 1v9 on the Rise pick, which should have been dealt with in the second ban rotation.
As you mentioned, a pretty nice, well-rounded comp, but might have trouble with engages. Whereas something that can 1-3-1 very nicely, we could see a lot of side lane pressure and global presence here from the side of KT. Can they play it though? Is the question. Let's jump onto the rip for game number 1.
Quickly, we'll go into bets. In the first game, all 4 of my projections hit on Deck Down Vital, Fate, and Fiesta. So if aiming goes over, I win a significant amount of money, which will be very nice. And then up top is my general projections for the match. So pretty simple split. I think this could potentially be a 2-0 for KT. So especially if this Rise pick doesn't work out. So it'll be interesting to watch for sure.
Players should be alert of the situation. That is pretty much the most scathing review I have heard from a coach in the LCK of his own team in quite a while. By the way, Life able to set up turrets here very early on. As Heimer in the lane, this is great for early lane control in the 1v1.
Early or double Comet as well, which is not fun to play into as far as the bot lane go. Aiming is going for the TP. TP obviously a summoner that can be used in 2 ways, either to recover if you have a very bad start to the lane, try and trade a little bit more aggressive in terms of health, and if you get poked out you can just get back, but also can be used to try and gain priority and extend
double Scorch bot lane for Hanwha Life.
Objective, as there is a ward here on the red buff, meaning that they will be aware of where Clid is going. Clid, by the way, going for the Conqueror build, the Conqueror Keystone rather. We have seen a number of different builds. PTA is the classic Kindred Keystone when you want to go for a lot of early aggression, try and look for an early kill or 2. Conqueror obviously skills very well. Also was Pioshik's favorite when he pulled out the Kindred, as aiming and lands not going to be able to really walk up to the wave there, unsurprisingly. But it's Ezreal, so we'll at the very least be able to still farm. Hasn't missed
This is the way this lane is going to go. KT did not try to really threaten or fight for priority in that lane. They kind of know what they have to deal with down.
One interesting thing that is like really a nombo with the Kindred is a lot of times you have to think about Lamb's Respite and different abilities that knock you out. And Camille could potentially ult someone and then hit all the enemies that are low health out of the things for a wombo combo. So Camille is like a really, really good pick into the Kindred, and they counterpick themselves. So that'd be an interesting development to watch. Other champions that are kind of like that have the counterplay into Kindred are Tristana. Sometimes Sindred is counterpicked into Kindred. So both interesting. Oh, Lee Sin as well.
Kingdom to be able to get a little bit of early pressure because post 6 this matchup obviously becomes kind of tough as from that point on Keen, if he does find Mininar in an awkward spot, King gets engaged on, he can be in deep trouble if his Bar is not up to the required level. But early on, definitely very heavy priority, and you see Keen also using the prio that he has on the top side to know where Clit is, and now we might see a little bit of a contest here, because they really want to try and secure the mark. Lahens is moving, but there is definitely a very low health aiming. Fortunately, Viper doesn't have a lot of mana, but we might see a scuffle here for this early crab. Zeka might be coming.
Cuz is gonna get it. Yeah, yes, Smite. Just gonna take it. They just got over there early. So like, all AP Sports, yes. Lahens might be forced to flash here. This is getting pretty close. Clit could also flash in. There it is. Lahens just gonna
Damn.
just shield in his face. He's like
Ice in Lahens' veins.
I don't care about your lack of damage.
Unfortunately,
Clit just flashes for free.
Probably get the kill. Also, no awareness of where Cuz was there because no vision. So Clit could have definitely chased off there and gotten the flash, but for all he knew, Cuz was about to go in and collapse. Little did we know, or did he know that Cuz was like, no, I did my job. I got my double scuttle. I'm going home.
I'm getting a good back.
Oh yeah, and he really did. Denying early mark is quite nice. Clit also without a flash available now, overestimating his damage early on. One upside is that there is indeed a good amount of damage being put on here in terms of early plays. And look at this, Freeman Realm Vision is amazing here. There is no teleport available. Zeka teleported towards mid.
Alright, come on, BDD.
This is going to be seen. So Keen is straight up just running out of the lane. He's actually trading pretty aggressively onto Keen as now the Realm Warp is available as the flash comes out from Keen and he doesn't get the root. So Keen's just going to get
Good
out
flash. Get the ult out of Ryze. So Ryze goes 0-1. Good job keeping Zeka on the floor.
Unfortunately, does cost Keen his flash, which into the Gnar lane is quite big. Gives King a lot more effective range to play with. As long as he avoids walls now, doesn't have to be nearly as afraid of a Camille all-in. As long as they can keep decent track of Cuz.
Hens is still level 3.
Yeah, this has happened with him before. Remember the Heimerdinger incident?
I remember it. Well, is he level 2 in that one?
It was not high. I don't know if it was 2 or 3, but it was.
It might have been level 1.
I don't know. He was a low, very low. I think it was 3, but it was a very low level for a really long time. Also, do
I think
note.
it was 4. Anyway,
That's fine. I'm glad that you remember more clearly than I do because my brain is very
not
scrambled.
sure that I do.
Well, I'm gonna believe you.
Either way, it was a very low level. It was below 6.
If you go in on a hard engage, I will follow you no matter what.
Nice.
Even though it might not be a good idea, because that's what friends do. Important here is that BDD didn't actually use his Destiny Engage on the topside roam, walked from base all the way over, which does mean that that is still available for a play. It also means that Clit, for example, can't really justify try and go for that bot mark, because if he is in an awkward position, Clit engages, or Cuz rather engages, and BDD joins him, then the Kindred is just going to get blown up. And thus far, is he able to actually reliably deal with the Kindred? Does come at the cost, as we can see, of BDD's farm, who is now getting substantially behind. And bot lane, as expected, really bleeding a lot of resources. Because while Clit is being set behind, Viper and Live have had the ability to just play their game for the entirety of the 7 minutes thus far, and it's Heimer Varus.
Yeah. I mean, Viper's just not missing his shots, right? Like, we were very excited to have Viper, honestly, obviously, back in the LCK. Just how awesome of a player he is, how skilled he is. He's a great guy. And we do have a little bit of a trade here, but it looks like they're just going to push out the lane and get a good back. This Infernal Drake is live after all. But, yeah, the first couple of games, he wasn't exactly the main carry. You know, he was playing, like, decently well, but he wasn't, like, popping off, right? So still waiting for that moment for him. Doing well in the lane so far.
And I don't think this is going to go anywhere. As for aiming in Lahens, this is the unfortunate reality of playing into Heimerdinger. You just
Yeah, they opted
don't
into
do that
this.
much. And Karma makes it better than it normally would be, which says a lot. As love this from Clid, using the false sense of security, as they have pressured bot lane so much. No teleport available yet. No, the bot lane is back. And as a result, pick yourself up a Drake, and really a great showcase of why I
It's really around Herald and second Drake where Sejuani starts to shine, especially if Keen can find somewhere to play.
Cuz is continuously punishing.
Some synergy with the Sejuani passive.
Whether Clid being set behind is going to be as much of a detriment when the bot lane is winning as hard as they do, and you get some early Drakes.
It's definitely an important one to ask at this point in the game. They do see Cuz, by the way. Not sure if he's... Oh, yeah, he did. He pinged that ward, so they know that he was spotted. Note that life now, it is after 8 minutes. He is now in the top river. He has left the bottom lane. Viper can do whatever he wants down there. Oh, we might see some contesting over this Rift Herald. Yeah, I don't think we've seen Viper miss yet.
And aiming does have teleport, which can either be used to go towards topside, but considering that Lens is roaming, my expectation is that they will let this Herald go. Viper, though, reads it perfectly as well, right? Like, doesn't overextend, doesn't try and optimize, because he wins the 1v1 very hard, if you hadn't guessed based on how he's currently looking. Not even gets poked down, as I curse him immediately.
Yeah, I made that sound because it's the feeling of being caught against the wall.
Yeah.
Against an Ezreal ult, you're like, oh, I can't run any further south. So he's just gonna get chunked out, and that's actually pretty big. I mean, it's gonna allow KT's bottom lane here, aiming in Lahens to get a turret plate.
Yeah, it's going to even out the gold too.
Because the Heimer's not here, but also Viper could not stay under the turrets to push the wave out as King is coming in. He's got a Sejuani nearby. King could be in trouble, but King is not quite in range. Look at his flash. It's like 5 seconds away.
Yeah, a little bit
Forcing that one.
awkward on the timing there. Keen definitely did have a window. There we go.
And now Clid's here. And now guess what? Zeka's here. It's a 3v3 straight up in the top side as the ult does not come out.
BDD
Clid is not able to get it down before he is stunned by the Sejuani, and that means that Zeka also
Okay.
has to back away from
BDD is homeless, but it's okay. Just keeps the game slow, so aiming has time to hit 2 items and then start fragging. So that's clearly what's happening here. He's going to hit Essence Reaver and the game's going to turn around.
Pretty sure Clid was still in a gold card, and because of that wasn't able to get anything done as
he got hit by the Sejuani ultimate as well. I mean, he might have been stunned for like 4.5 seconds.
And as a result, Kingdom just dies, doesn't get to build up his Narbar, you don't get to equalize the health bars. And unfortunately, even though it looked a little jank, as you were saying, cooldown available just there as just a really nice CC chain. Also BDD having the presence of mind to not go for the low health Gnar, but making sure that Kindred couldn't play. No availability for Zeka and Clid at that point because the health bars on the opposing side are still full. And I was about to talk about the fact that
BDD being able to coast through the laning phase though is pretty big. Both plays for Zeka around his R haven't come to fruition. So the wave clear from BDD is going to be pretty great, considering the buffs to Q and the AP ratio on red card. Oh my lord.
Expecting the follow-up arrow. Because now Clid is here, he's just going to drop this Rift Herald, saying, okay, well, we've got a good trade down on the bottom side. This is good timing. We can take down this first turret pretty early on. 12 minutes.
Good play from Clid here.
Looking a lot cleaner. Notice also also Zeka already hovering towards bot side. BDD doesn't have his Destiny Gate available, so he doesn't have.
So the weak side from KT clearly being punished, but we've already killed the Gnar, so at least we're not falling behind on macro play for KT.
Coming out of the fog, but
Poor Kindred life. Yeah. Barely able to scrape together.
Ezreal's starting to be a champion too, so that's pretty good.
there is no feeling more depressing than when you're playing
Twisted Fate should have Rod of Ages here as well.
team in solo queue that has up until that point been a complete mess.
Rod of Ages complete.
You know, watch your entire the moment the mark spot, like watch your entire jungle, drops free waves.
Twisted Fate art is coming up.
Beating this in so well. I mean, Cuz is up here, right? But it is Mega Gnar. Can they kill the Mega Gnar is the question. Looks very likely.
Well played, Keen.
Done as Keen, he set that all up. He hookshot.
Great counter pick.
He's like, yeah, come get me. And King and fell for it 100%.
Very nicely done there by Keen. And often you talk about strong 2v2s, especially with how popular Sejuani is at the moment. You don't always quite
BDD should get to tier 2.
even in Mega.
Zeka isn't going to entirely overshove,
Completely unable to
considering the lack of
get
vision.
done.
But he does manage to get the wave into the bot turret here, so BDD is only here to pick up the cannon.
Sideline does really
Oh, he misses the cannon.
make matters a lot
Oh.
more difficult
Oh.
because if she does get fat enough, game becomes very hard to play out for Humble Life, as no one can match the Camille, and you need to try and deal with that, simultaneously keeping track of where BDD
I wonder
is.
if Viper goes for shield
Very hard to get
or
into
Serpent
the
Fang,
stage of the game. Fortunately for Humble Life, bot lane again still an amazing spot.
considering a lot of your damage is going to be going through that E. God forbid the Mantra E.
Should still be feeling good.
We can't all roll, you know,
Might just be
nat 20s and get Hextech every time. But yeah, I mean, that would be excellent.
Might be a Camtech. There you go. That's the one we don't want. The most.
Hey man, Jeff's a nice guy.
You do not like. Don't pretend with me, Valdez.
Yeah. Also,
your
Jeff
true
is only in
feelings.
Challenger League. We have bonus memes in Challenger League compared to LCK. You guys wouldn't know unless you watched on Mondays and Tuesdays at 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. Korean Standard Time. But anyway, this top lane is kind of done. I mean, Kingen is just getting bodied.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for him already. So you gotta wonder what's going to happen as the game comes along here. As Clid he's got it.
Cuz, you got this.
Cuz just gonna throw an ult in. The damage will go the way.
Let's go! Redemption time!
Will last hit it, and we
My
will
man.
get a Mountain Soul for this game.
Possibly a blessing in disguise for Hanwha if they are actually able to build up more of these. But if not, I guarantee you do not want to play against KT stacking multiple Mountain Drakes. Right? Camille already can be hard enough to kill. This same for Sejuani. That's going to be way worse. And Hanwha Life has one damage dealer that can actually get through these health bars, and that is specifically Clid. Is going for the Kraken Slayer build. Would not be surprised if he picks up a Blade of the Ruined King as well. That's what Pioshik has gone for many a times. King, and yeah, he's fine, but he doesn't really win trades because he's so far behind in terms of items.
Almost got through his physical damage shield.
And Viper is Lethality Varus. And Viper thus far, I think he's played great. Applied a lot of pressure. That's all nice. But if you're playing into a Mountain Soul shield, you don't do a lot. As, oh, life, no. No, that's not the build. No, that's not what you want. We
Yeah,
don't, no.
well,
Not the Proto Belt again. Not the Rocket
he
Belt.
wants the boom boom go fast belt.
I'm not on board.
That's the name now. Okay. The
bro.
team's coming out here, and Cuz is in a little bit of trouble, but he is able to get away. He is already decently tanky enough. There's another good Ezreal ultimate will come through. Cuz, of course, on the jungle, he will not be able to teleport back into this one, so they might just give this one away. As the smite will come through, lands and aiming, just poking them away. We did see the Destiny Gate come out, so I thought maybe there was going to be a fight, but not meant to be. As BDD just gets back to lane, and now he's going to roam down the bottom side.
As overall, Second Herald mostly useful to try and break.
Not forcing that fight when Ezreal doesn't have mirror mana is pretty good.
Has flash. That Gnar was not good. He's going the opposite way. He's just getting out of here. He is going to take 2 turret shots, though, but Lens is here, trying to help out. will finally have to flash, as the Mancer Q is enough to slow them both down. Lahens does a good job.
Oh, Lahens has to flash.
Might have to flash out of this one. Poor support. He's just going to have to flash.
But BDD.
Free value on the bottom lane. He's going to take down this turret.
And something we haven't talked about that much is that KT is running triple teleport. And triple teleport... Oh, King's dead.
Uh-oh. Okay, he's going to flash away. Hextech ultimatum could have been used, but would have been close. Might have died to Meganar.
Kingen getting the amount of draft priority that he did and then not being able to get a lot done on Gnar is rather unfortunate.
Viper looks... Ooh, okay, he's got...
Yeah. Still a cleanse, so it was fine. Does have to blow the cooldown, which is unfortunate, but that could be the end of the world as... Yeah, Kingen line picking the Gnar is fine if the Gnar then actually works. They also expanded, like, another ban is...
Life just kind of laughs at him, throws a grenade in his face.
Okay.
He's being chased down here, though. And there is the stun. No
Oh, come on, Amy. Come on, Amy.
Life is,
No, Keen.
not the best position. He did play it decently well. But at the end of the day, he is going to go down.
And back-to-back, kind of awkward moments for Homa Life as they are just not able to get anything done.
He's getting in there. He's got the backup from Viper, and that's why he's going...
No, Viper, stop it.
Tons of damage coming out, and they will trade supports.
Good job getting in range with the Ghost Blade, though.
The only reason they wanted to go for this is Kingen had other ideas. He says, well, maybe I can just go to the top side. No, he is dead. Keen will shut that down. That is a 3-0 Camille. 19 minutes into the game.
Bit baffled at overall shenanigans unfolding onto the rift before us. As
With how gross as Camille's getting, Ryze isn't going to be able to side lane.
I was hoping that after
Certainly not with the threat of Twisted Fate.
where they would look a bit cleaner, and it's not like the game has
It's
been team here, even though
it's looking pretty rough for Hanwha, despite Viper getting on the board here.
rest of the game if they are not early to objectives, because their side laning situation is very, very bad. You are playing into a Camille that is extremely far ahead, that no one can really match in the side lane.
Only Zeka is going to have a
Zeka,
chance. Yeah.
well,
BDD completes the Lich Bane, which is kind of gross.
and then moments like this, as you know what, Life. Now I get it. That's why he's. I don't think he has a finish here yet.
He does.
He does have a point out. Okay.
He's
Well,
in the last fight. Maybe not in this one.
yeah. So the key, you can just dodge out the Sedge ulti. That's why we. That's the only reason I can tell myself, and that's what I gotta have. As Viper desperately sets up a play for his team, able to actually execute on this, and then they don't. Do you spot the ward?
Yeah, he saw the word. And then he's like, oh yeah, I should be fine. just
there is
public service announcement. Both Camille and Sejuani can dash over walls.
And as a result, KT picks up another one of these Drakes, and yeah, why not? Hail Mary Baron.
Hopefully with these Mountain Drakes coming through, Viper stops
He doesn't have to veto.
Okay.
finding
Sneagate's pretty good
kills.
at seeing this one, as they look to
Okay.
force KT to come on in.
BDD
There is
uses
also
Gataxi and Probe.
The Kindred in the backside. They don't have a lot of vision of this though.
No teleport, though.
Okay, that's a little bit awkward. Everybody's like, okay, I'm leaving. Goodbye. Just gonna realm morph out of this fight.
And that's basically it. Alma Life doesn't really get anything out of it. Unable to maintain control. We now start to see the vision also very good here for KT, so there aren't really any surprise plays.
With Zeka not having any other components in his things, you have to think he's saving up for a needlessly large rod.
Is really tough once you lose
Takes
the
top wave,
game,
takes
because one,
Gromp,
you need
could
defensive
recall
setup to actually
for that buy.
win in fights. Right, you're looking at Viper either hitting poke or Life being able to set up his turret so that the enemy can't quite walk in. And you can't lose the side lane too hard because BDD is fine. He's not going to be the problem in terms of matching him. But BDD, as soon as he's in fog, you need to respect, because if Camille is anywhere and BDD Destiny gates, even if
BDD keeping up in gold here is really important, though.
based on the gold,
Nearly 40 CS down, and he's even on gold? Just from that solo turret bot?
Inflated gold in terms of where he will always be compared to his lane opponent, but this Camille is a really big problem, and KT has a perfect draft for
Zeka, because of that
Zeka
CS
on the
lead, has a
side lane as well.
150
For
CS
Home
lead.
Alive, you're kind of relying on some mistakes
Kind of
from your
gross.
opponents to,
Thanks,
from
Riot.
this point on, get a lot done, because KT can just pull you apart. Right now, they have 2 teleports available, but once aiming as is up, even he, Ezreal is like very safe in the side lane. It's not like you can easily take him down either. And the Home Alive comp starting to feel more and more awkward. KT, I think, in a wonderful position in this game.
Yeah, just hanging out. They will have an immense amount of side lane pressure. For now, they're just they were
Aiming has a
able to
really
get
big power spike here.
but as you mentioned, they can join
Yeah,
up
look
at
at this
any time.
offer.
You could also
I would
just,
start looking for just random fights.
especially before there's a lot
I
of
think
Baron
Keen is so
pressure, just
strong.
keep your jungler here and say, okay,
You have
well,
to assume you're gonna find a
now you're at
4v3.
risk of being dove, which is just going to make things even more.
Look at the vision as well.
Okay, they're going to try to get on top of Clint here, who is going to get his ult off, just barely, as they have gone pretty deep for this one, but still a pretty decent trade here for KT. Keen does have to get out,
Okay,
as some
I'll
extra
take it.
chunks were done on the backside, and actually Zeka wasn't even there. He's just in the top side pushing, so actually ends up being a pretty decent trade here for Humalife.
Actually quite nice, as you point out. Does mean
Yeah, I
that
don't think
he's
Keen
able to
should
focus a
necessarily
little
start
bit,
team fighting,
limiting some of the more aggressive plays that he can go for.
especially if you're
Carries
engaging with
nicely.
Hextech Ultimatum and not saving it for the Kindred ult.
As mentioned, I think he'll be completely fine. Does get his ROAS stack and his level 16 right there, as we get to witness that, which is cute.
Cool.
And for Home Alive, those are the type of plays that you're going to be looking for, right? Mistakes from KT, where they're going a little bit too aggressive, when they maybe get a little bit over eager to get a turret. Some people might not be completely synced up, but if KT played this out perfectly, I think it is very hard for Hanwha to really get anything done unless, you know, King finds a multi-man ultimate or Zeka pops off completely in the fight, which can definitely happen.
Yeah.
And also KT has been known at times to be their own worst enemy.
Yeah, I mean, so far it's looked pretty clean from them, to be honest. I feel like Cuz is really kind of like King got an early lead, and then Cuz was like, okay, let's expound upon that. You know, like let's really try to pressure the top side of the map, which isn't always what you see. You know, they drafted Ezreal Karma almost to just say, okay, we're not playing bot side at all. We're just, you know, let you down there. You're gonna farm. You're gonna be safe. It's fine. But we're not gonna focus on that at all. Let's get
Dang.
King ahead.
Kingen
Try to
with
win
the
this top
Black
lane
Cleaver
matchup.
Rush,
Hasn't
unironically.
been okay. Ults will come out here. Hopefully this time we'll be able to hop away from that one. So yeah, Keen hasn't been exquisite in his play, but Kingen neither. So I think now Keen kind of stepping up to the plate, put on this opportunity to carry counter top side, is doing quite well.
As it will be Clint picking that one up. And we will have a Drake spawning in 20 seconds. I don't know if Hanwha Live feel like they can contest this. I could take a big chunk there. Of course, aiming, as you pointed out, not really has been in the greatest spot this game, but it doesn't really matter. Still has been able to pick up all the farm that he needs to, so even though he lost his turret relatively
hanging
early
out.
on, yeah, he doesn't care, right? Right now, you're Ezreal, you're feeling great. If you pick up another Mountain Drake or two, then it's not like the lethality Varus is really going to hurt you that much.
Here we go. TF in the bottom lane. Kingen is just
I
getting
don't think it's an
pummeled.
He's gonna get an R.
There's
Oh, never
nobody
mind.
first.
I
This is
lied
exactly
entirely.
what we talked about. Humalife
Double
Esports.
TP's available.
Yeah, they immediately try to start the Baron, but KT will be here. I guess they're at least trying to force these teleports. They are not in a good spot. Health bars are low.
Aiming.
Gonna go down. Clint has to ult underneath this Baron as they are just
Aiming.
cornered and outplayed. Over the wall will go Keen as Zeka's trying to do something to help out Viper, but that is not going to work out. Baron will go the way of KT as Viper even flashing. He is never going to get away from this one, so pretty confusing. But
Great
way,
performance from
goes
Keen.
down. Zeka remains
That's gonna be Baron, so they're gonna get mid and bot prio, so it's gonna be Drake. So soul point for here for KT.
Sometimes a game just play out the way that you expect it to, and in this case, this is textbook. You can easily collapse. Hanwha Life, I think, felt like they were in a very
Keen at
awkward
least on the
position
board,
to try
even
and
if he
win this
scores
fight.
pretty low here, that's
And
fine.
even underneath the turret, Kingen is not safe at all. Double TP comes through, and you can stall for a little bit here as Hanwha Life, but it doesn't matter. Baron served on a silver platter here. Viper, I think, desperately trying to, you know, maybe get a steal. Not going to be the case, and even if he did,
I think aiming has the potential for a like a 6-7 kill Zeri game into Hanwha Life. So anything
Dragon,
in this territory
and
is pretty nice
for our life,
for how
not
remarkably
good.
low score this game
Game
is.
number one, draft kind of awkward, doesn't end up working out in a weak individual game from King, and with Cuz doing a really good job, leading to a really lopsided gold graph here after the 20-something minute mark. 25, I want to say? Roughly.
Like I said, you know, I think KT can get a pretty large lead through the jungle, and the top lane is really benefiting from it.
Good
As now
lord.
Omen is going to be dove once again. And again, this is just the way this comp plays
And
out.
BDD really
No
just can't pick up one
rewards.
of these.
Like and King, and at this point, like stuff could have happened differently earlier on in the game, as Life is ganking? I'm not sure, but he's dead. As the ult will come through, and KT looking to take a relatively quick one
Oh
with
my
this
lord.
composition.
And not
Aiming is just cracked or what?
the power spike of the propelling Heimerdinger is going to be enough. The movements, not enough to outplay, and KT, very clean, very convincing game number one here. Sacked their bot lane early, but what they got back for it in return was simply incredible. And Humble Life, Zeka is not on Akali or Silas, and as a result, team doesn't really get anything done.
KT not going to end it at this point. I mean, one of the things you mentioned in the draft is that Homolife Esports are really going to have a difficult time forcing team fights, and KT have done a fantastic job of just saying, well, we're only going to fight you when we want to. And if you want to fight, like, you can't do anything about it.
What do you
right?
What do you do?
Unless we just, you know, donk into you, essentially, which they have not.
Here he comes. Watch him soar. He gave his life for the good of the team. I think. I don't know. He didn't get that much done. Unfortunate moment there.
He has a
So even a double kill on this last fight, I'd be happy. I imagine we'll see it over Soul and not Baron, but
nice.
also considering all three inhibs are down, it's pretty rough, but Varus is one of the best champions at dealing with supers.
And at this point, as on while you're going over, okay, what do we do next game? To me, gotta start in the draft. You can't put this much priority on an R for it and waste bans on it for it to still get counterpicked, get absolutely demolished.
It's kind of interesting they didn't ban the Camille. I mean, they did ban the Aurelia instead.
Yeah.
And the Cassante, I mean, that's something that the Nara's been picked into many times. So they went for that ban just based on Cassante power level right now. As Kingan's like, please let me play the game. I just want to ult someone, anyone. I don't think he's hit a single person with this ult. Maybe one time. Not sure. As the siege will happen, and KT will slowly but surely finish off this extremely convincing game. The Kindred was there, and now she's not. As Zeka also trying to do whatever he can to carry at this point, but it is
Okay, let's not.
KT gonna start off
This looks really bad.
I think, right? They should just hit the Nexus. There you go. They take it
Okay.
down. KT
Well,
win 11-1 in the kill score.
Viper kept to 1. Aiming hits 3. So that's like most of what I have bets on. So overall, pretty dominant performance from KT. Cuz really bouncing back from his poor performance against DRX. So we'll see what's up. I'm pretty excited about game 2 here. But thanks for watching.